All right, seeing none, thank you all for being with us today. We'll ask staff to get ready the next panel. Ryan Mello, Liz Hyamseth, and Lynn Idahosa Berry. And with that, we'll move on to panel number 4. And if we could hear first from Jessica Zielinski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Jessica Zielinski, and I live in the 31st Legislative District. I'm representing myself and 3 young children, and I urge you to oppose Senate Bill 5038. As a female person of color, I am 15 times more likely to become a victim of violent crime. I carry a firearm daily to protect not only myself, but my 3 young children. After a pregnancy that ended with a C-section, I couldn't carry concealed for medical reasons, even if I wanted to. This past summer, I was trapped during the Chaz Chop protest in Seattle. I had dropped off dinner for family friends while I was headed home, and the active protest exploded onto the street I was on. I was quickly surrounded by angry protesters destroying property and burning vehicles. I was terrified and I was afraid for my life. Under this proposed bill, I would have been guilty of a gross misdemeanor simply because a protest erupted around me and trapped me within it. Recently, my daughter suffered a concussion, which required a trip to the emergency room. If I had happened to encounter a protest while seeking medical attention for my child, I would once again be breaking the law. Having to detour more than 3 football fields away to remain in compliance could ultimately endanger my child's life and have a good medical prognosis for my child. What if a protest erupts near my child's daycare? To remain compliant, I am forced to leave my children in potentially life-threatening danger because I cannot come within 3 football fields of their care facility. We all saw from the summer of 2020 that we cannot predict when we could find ourselves in the middle of protest and civil unrest, making us all criminals. I urge you to oppose this bill and not advance it out of committee. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll hear from Sharon Hinchcliffe.
Good morning, Chairman Peterson, committee members. Thank you for hearing my testimony today for Senate Bill 5038. I am Sharon Hinchcliffe, living in District 27, and one of the 3 admins for the Pink Pistols, Seattle and Tacoma and Olympia chapters. Pink Pistols Seattle Tacoma is opposed to Senate Bill 5038, the 2021 version of the New York City Sullivan Act of 1911 and the California Mulford Act of 1967, which continues targeting of marginalized minority communities by intentionally fostering an oppressive environment where police are weaponized by either ignorant or malicious anti-civil rights gun control prohibitionists. This bill targets those who by nothing other than their color, religion, or who they love with aggressive police interaction due to the 911 phone calls of, quote, the black man with the gun stereotype. Open carrying of firearms has long been used in the United States to protect those who are fighting oppression and authoritarian governments. From the Deacons of Defense and Justice protecting the March Against Fear by encouragement from Stokely Carmichael to the Black Panthers protesting police brutality in Oakland, California, to BLM 357 armed peaceful protests in Richmond, Virginia this past January 2021 on Martin Luther King Day. Criminalizing open carrying during protests, gatherings, and demonstrations is a tool used to silence those speaking out against violence, abuse, and brutal actions of weaponized law enforcement. For the unarmed, unprotected are silenced by gas, water cannons, and force. Protect Washington residents, all residents, civil right of assembly, and to vocalize grievances by voting no on Senate Bill 5038. If any committee members have any questions, I am available. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll hear from Curtis Bingham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Curtis Bingham, and I'm with the Washington Civil Rights Association. I urge you to oppose Senate Bill 5038. As Senator Wagner mentioned, this bill obliterates the Second Amendment in favor of the First. State and federal courts have repeatedly ruled that each of these first 10 amendments in the Bill of Rights and the next 17 are equal in stature. None of them are optional. According to the definition of the bill, a demonstration could be one single person expressing views or grievances with the intent or likelihood of drawing a crowd. You would have to stay 1,000 feet away from a single person holding a sign over their heads. That's more than 3 football fields away. With police staffing at all-time low levels, how are we possibly going to find enough extra police officers to maintain an effective cordon for 1,000 feet around this person with a sign, let alone escort them away? You're allowed to possess or control a weapon inside of a private house, but God forbid you're in a commercial supermarket or a restaurant within 3 football fields of this person holding a sign. You can't be inside, but you also can't leave because that's a gross misdemeanor. As well, you cannot be lawfully open or conceal carrying your firearm in your car under this definition while driving within 3 football fields of this person with the sign. The bill graciously exempts duly authorized state and local law enforcement, but what about DEA, FBI, or the National Guard currently stationed around the Capitol? All of the ICE police officers at the ICE building in Tacoma would have to go back inside and let the protesters burn the building down, as they've shown their willingness to do. The worst part of this bill is this. This bill can only serve to weaponize protests. Someone doesn't like a group, fill in the blanks. Blacks, Asians, Latinos, LGBTQ, whites, it won't matter. All they have to do is stage a protest right in front of them and call the police to arrest them. The potential for abuse is monstrous. I urge you to oppose this bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do members of the committee? Yes, Senator Wagner, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question is for Jessica Zalewski. Hopefully I didn't.
Linsky, I think she says.
I don't see if she's still up there, but if she is, thank you, Jessica.
Yes.
Since you've experienced the protests, and I'm sensing some language here, there's a distinction between armed intimidation and intimidation proper. So I'm asking you, what's more intimidating to you, the mob or somebody open carrying?
The mob, definitely. Not open carrying. It doesn't bother me at all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. Any other questions from members of the committee for this panel? Senator Kuderer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Briefly for Mr. Bingham. Since this law is modeled on the Alabama statute, do you have any examples of that statute weaponizing protests?
I am unaware of the bill that or the law in Alabama, and so I couldn't comment on that. With the way that this is written, with the definitions such as they are, there are so many opportunities for people to target an individual that they may disagree with in some fashion simply by showing up with a group of people and causing a protest, calling the police. And so one of the things that's a big challenge here is finding a balance between protecting everyone's rights and not allowing people to abuse laws that are put into place. And this one here offers a huge opportunity for people to do so.
Great, I'll take a note. Your answer, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Any other questions from the committee? All right, seeing none, thank you, the 3 of you, for coming forward. We'll go ahead and prepare the next panel. Lou